Oh my Lord. We are here, guys. Guess what? It is Wednesday, and you know this is the place to be. Welcome to another episode from the battle to the glory. Yes, we are here, and we have some special guests for you guys today. And before we get into our guests, let me tell you who on the panel today. We have our co-host, Lady T. She is here with us again. Oh man, the summertime is coming. And then we have Rodney Glover, the host of Dad Mentality. And then we have our special guest, Christina Blessings. And then we have Steve McCormick. And he is here with a great story, as well as Christina. And listen, before we get into our topic, let's introduce ourselves to one another. And we're going to start with Christina. Christina, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Christine. I would say that I'm a mom to one amazing daughter. She's the one who takes care of all the technical stuff in the house. And I've been ordained into ministry. I was ordained by the Joan Hunter Ministries about 2021. So one thing I can say about myself is that I'm coming out of the backside of the desert. God has had me, after I graduated from ministry school and was ordained into ministry in 2021, I was ready to launch out. I released my book, Deliver to Manifest His Glory. I was beginning, and then it started with a dream. I had this dream. I was taking off with some people, and the takeoff was really smooth. But just a few minutes into the flight, the pilot says that we need to land. We have some technical difficulties we need to fix. And then in the natural, things followed up that made me pause where I was going. So the Lord just literally pulled me back, and He's been processing me. So I'm emerging out of that right now.
Yeah. Right. What about you, Steve? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Stephen McCormick. It's a pleasure to be on here, with all three of you guys, you know what I mean? So first off, thank you. But I'm from Seguin, Texas, down south in Texas. I've been a believer in Christ for a while. I actually started just now coming to Christ more fully, I'll say about 2-3 years ago. I was, when my wife was hit by a drunk driver, and that day, November 16th, that's when I found Christ really, and I started going hard for him.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. We'll get more into that testimony later on. Rodney, let everybody know, let the guests a little bit about yourself.
All right. I'm Rodney Glover. I'm the host of Dad Mentality Podcast. I'm also So Christine asked earlier how we all met, and Chef Dennis came on another podcast that I was on and just tried out saying, hey, I'm doing a podcast and things like that. Come check it out. So I started checking it out, and it was faith-based. And at that time, I was really starting to pursue my passion in life with Christ. I started my show. My show started off as a drinking and smoking show. And after a while, I started really pursuing my relationship with Christ and things like that. And it started just transitioning. And then when I saw what Chef Dennis was doing, I came on the show and I saw him and Lady T, and I was like, you know what, God, I really want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a part of that faith-based. And for the simple fact that I was tired of Chef Dennis being wrong and beating up on Lady T. And I was like, somebody's got to stand up for Lady T, because Chef Dennis can say whatever he want to say like it's the gospel. And I'm like, nah, that ain't how it works. So, ever since then, I just show up all the time and, just come on here and have a great time. It's really a place for me that has been very healthy. Over the last couple of years, you can, if you watch this show too, you'll see my change. You'll see how I went from what I used to be known as was the Beast One to Rodney Glover, because I no longer need that other personality that I used to have. You know what I'm saying? I no longer needed that guy. And I even had my own show where I said that, I was, basically I'm burying the Beast One. There's no more of that alternate personality that I needed. I felt like I needed to protect myself, that I was relying on God from now on. And so that's where I've been. My podcast has been on hiatus. Me and my host have been going through having some personal issues that we're trying to clear out, but it will be back. So there you go. That's the quick story.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, me and Lady T, Christine, we are cousins. And how did we come together in this whole journey? We are out in a family outing. We was having a great time. We was loving on one another, and we had a deep conversation. And I was like, you know what? I wanted to do a podcast. And at first I was starting to do it by myself, but God led me to call Lady T and ask her. And she was in her season of saying yes to God. And so when she was in the season of saying yes to God, I had called. I said, listen, I'm going to do a podcast. Would you be my co-host? She was like, yes. No questions asked, no nothing. And only thing that was on my mind was faith-based. Like, it's going to be about God. I'm a chef. It wasn't going to be about cooking. So I was like, you know what? Boom. It started out with What's Cooking. That was the podcast name in the first season, What's Cooking. But then Lady T's like, man, listen, we got to. She didn't say we, but when she say I say we. We got to change the name because I don't like that. It's not about me. It's us. Without her, it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? We make it together. So we started it together, and that's how it's going to be. Even when sometimes when I go on shows by myself, but she's not available. So I do go and make sure that everybody know it's not just me, it's Lady T as well. So we come with a dual type thing. And it's been great. It's been a great journey. We have seen each other grow. And it's great. And so that's how me and her connected. And we have a lot of similarities, a lot of things that's in common, that's personal. But we do have and I think that's what made us come together. We have a lot of things that's in common that we won't bump heads, and we understand one another and we respect one another to the utmost. And so that's how, we stay strong together. And then Rodney came along and he was a perfect fit. I was going to say something, but I'm not.
To keep you on your toes, brother.
No, it's not. Look, hey, Steve.
It's not. If you want to smoke, I run.
Look, Steve, it's not that he keep me in check, but you know what?
No, he keep you on your toes, not in check. He keeps you on your toes.
Oh yeah, he keep me on my toes. The moment I step out of line, it's like, all right, wait a minute. Did I say something wrong? And I gotta go back and I say, all right. I got Christine. I gotta go like this. Hold up, I'm on a right beam. All right, I'm good. But yeah. So that's a little bit of a backstory of us and how we got together. And so now we're going to jump right on into this conversation because I don't know what you guys was thinking, but look. Sometimes I come up with some good topics. Sometimes the topics come right from the Holy Spirit night. Like I've never seen nothing like this before. The barrier formed by sin. Ooh. So Roddy got this first. No, I'm not even gonna go to Roddy yet. I'm gonna go to our guest first. So Christine, what was the first thing that came to your mind when you saw that? The barrier formed by sin.
Yes, when you sent me that topic and I was praying and thinking about it, the first thing that came into my mind is that when I look at all the origin of sin, it all comes from one source, the loss of that intimacy, the foundation of a relationship with the Lord. So I couldn't get away from it. And I decided that, this is it. I'm going to research on this, pray through this and see what the Lord will do. But when you look at like when David fell, it was because he was at a place where he was no longer fighting wars. And he was like complacent. He had become the king. And then Bathsheba comes up. So every time when Lucifer fell, so every time that we come into that place where we're complacent, we're taking God for granted, and we take him like a picture on the wall that we look at but don't really relate with, don't connect with. That's when we begin to get into a path that leads us into all the other sins that may follow. Like if that foundation with a relationship with the Lord is strong, there is no temptation that can shake you out of your place in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was deep. Rod, Steve, what about you?
Well, I can't top that one, but I tell you that. Well, when you sent the topic, man, it's just automatically for me back in the day. It's just all the sins I was doing, all the sins I was committing. You know what I mean? Knowing I was doing wrong, even though I was, and I was still doing them. You know what I mean? And all the partying and girls after girls after girls or whatever. And disobeying everything. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Like how much I used to sin back in the day. So I don't know if that was close to the topic or whatever, but that came to my head.
Okay, all right. Rodney, what about you?
You said that I got something already. I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Huh?
No? All right, don't worry about it. The barrier that's formed by sin. I mean, the first thing I thought about is how in my opinion, the greatest trick that the devil is doing right now is convincing us that normal is sin. Normal is not sin. I'm sorry. The things that we walk around, huh?
Sin is normal.
All right, can I finish talking?
I mean, you said it backwards.
I didn't say that. I said it the way I wanted to say it.
Oh, now? Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. So,
humble.
So anyway, to go back to what I was saying. So, the thing is that he's convincing people that things that are going around every day isn't sin. You know what I'm saying? So like marijuana, and there's a drugstore, there's a liquor store on every corner. You know what I'm saying? The things that I woke up with that I battle with myself. I've always talked about the story that in my house, alcohol was normal. Alcohol, we celebrated every day. If whatever happened, we celebrated with alcohol. You know what I'm saying? If it was a good day, we celebrated with alcohol. If it was a bad day, then we celebrated with alcohol. If it was just Tuesday, we celebrated with alcohol. And for a long time, I thought it was normal. I was like, this is how you live life. You go to work, you come home, you drink all night. That's normal, know. And I really feel that the barrier is that the devil convinces us to stay in what we think is normal. We see this every day. Like the guys I deal with smoke weed every morning. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand it. I'm looking at them like, how do y'all function every morning you're doing this? But they're like, hey, I've been doing this for 15 years. It's normal. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, why do you want to make yourself sleepy?
Huh?
It's like, why do you want to make yourself sleepy?
I don't understand it, but every morning they get up the same thing. And I'm like, yo, and I was like, yeah, that to me, that's just the devil convincing people that this stuff is normal. I talk about my boy who thought calling his wife a B was normal. You know what I'm saying? Like the biggest thing that the devil does is he gets us in that barrier where we just think we're just doing normal things. What do you mean? Everybody does it. Everybody's outside smoking weed. Everybody's drinking. Everybody does this, so it seems normal, and it kind of keeps you in that space. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I thought about it when I saw barriers.
All right. That was great. Lady T, what about yourself?
I'm also like Christina. I think of barriers formed by sin is a distortion in our mindset, in a separation from God. It's a separation from, God, between each other, one another, and most of the time, even within ourselves. It's, I don't know the exact wording, but I remember hearing that the Greek word of sin is missing the mark. The reason, not the definition or whatever the word is in Greek. And missing the mark means that you're not actually getting on the level of awareness and trust and communion with God. And that's very important because that is like what we say as missing the mark of connecting with God. When you are not separated from God, you have your wholeness, you have your holiness, you have loss of fear, you have courage, you have so many things that are beneficial for us as a people when we do not miss the mark and we do not go by sin. So I agree that which all you guys said was all true. Is more of the connection, the relationship with God is disconnected from us. And that is something that many of us have to go through in life to understand that God is there. You know, many of us go through missing the mark because we need to learn a lesson. We need to understand something about ourselves. So missing the mark is how I see sin. It's a barrier that separates us from love with God, one another, and ourselves.
Oh, it's so sweet. Nah, but that's great. That's great. Everybody was wonderful. And so when God like revealed this to me, I was looking at it, right? And so you guys all hit some bullet points. The reason why I said that is because just think about it. What creates the barrier is the sin, right? But the more we commit in sin, the further we get from God. And you said it earlier, Christina, the relationship part. So the more we constantly, continuously living in our sin, the further we get from God, our relationship kind of drifts away. And so there are things that keeps us in that bondage, which is sin. Whatever it is, whatever demon that you wrestle with, it keeps you in that bondage. And that relationship that you're supposed to have, it pulls you away. It keeps you there. And what does a barrier do? What does a barrier do?
Blocks you.
Blocks you, holds you in.
It holds you in. And guess what? And so the more we commit sin, right, the more we get blocked in. And depending on what the sin is, we get comfortable. We get complacent. And because we think I'm comfortable here. Nothing's touching me. Yeah, the enemy's saying you in a good space. Yeah, keep on doing it.
Yeah.
So because now, right, Ronnie, you in a good space. Oh, don't worry about it. Like you said, convincing you. Oh,
if the devil ain't attacking, if the devil ain't attacking you, that's because he's walking with you.
That's it. And so that's what happens. And there are a lot of people out here that live in bondage and keeps them from having that relationship. You know, a toxic relationship. If it's not that, even if they're not even around people that's going to encourage them. Let's think about it. You got toxic people around you. What are they doing to you? They're not increasing your relationship. They're not adding to you. They're taking from you. They're taking the time that you could be putting towards God, or even beginning to have a relationship with him, and that you're not. And so in my journey, what kept me from focusing on God? I just was rebellious. I wanted to be rebellious growing up. So I was like, you know what? Once I got up of age, I was like, man, listen, I've been confined to this house all my life till I was 18. Once I got 18, I was like, look, I didn't even think about God. I want to go out. I want to party. And so what did it do? It kept me for some years away from him. Did I always know him? Yes. So so I'm saying to people that, yes, drinking, partying is fun. But at the end of the day, at what cost? At what cost is that fun for my life or for anybody's life? What cost? Because you never know, your life could be taken just like that. So all the partying, all the things we're doing, then what we have. God, when God gave us his only begotten son, he gave us an opportunity to have eternal life. And so, Christina, what do you say to a person that's struggling to have a relationship with God because of their alcohol, because of their sex addiction, because of their mouth? They tee off on anybody. They don't care. So how would you like handle that?
I would first let them know that God loves them unconditionally, and that's why he sent his son. Before we were right, or before we were perfect, he sent the Lord to bridge the gap that was created between us and him when Satan fell, when Adam and Eve fell. So I'd let them know that God loves them unconditionally and that they can trust him to heal them, to set them free, and to set them back on the path with him. So I would invite them to give themselves a chance, to give God a chance to show them that they are valuable. He has a purpose for them. He has a vision, And all they need to do is take one step at a time back to him, and he will lead them to what he originally created. Everybody has God has an assignment for everyone here on earth. There is no one, even if they were born on the street, even if they've killed 1 million people, there is no one that does not have that God doesn't care for, that did not come, that was not created in the image of God. I would like to share this maybe a couple of minutes, I think I was still in Texas, about the time that they killed Osama bin Laden. For some reason, I'm an intercessor, and sometimes the Lord will lead me to pray for certain people that I'll never meet. So one time 3 months before they took out Osama bin Laden, the Lord made me to pray for him for 3 months. And I just obeyed. I didn't know why. I prayed. And towards the end, maybe a few weeks before, the burden to pray for him lifted. And I was telling the people I was living with that the Lord is having me pray for Osama bin Laden. And he's like, you are crazy. How do you pray for a terrorist? But I was just obeying. And then I heard on the news the morning he was taken out. But that morning, what happened is that I felt a lot of grief, and I thought it was my grief. Later on, I found out I was grieving in my spirit. I'm like, he's died and he didn't give his life to Christ. Now he's going to go permanently to hell. So I was sharing the people, they were just laughing. They were not connecting with the heart of God for Osama bin Laden. So I turned on the TV, and there was a prophet by that time by the name of Kim Clement. So I turned on the TV, and I didn't know him then, but he just he went to his den to pray, and his heart was hurting when he went to pray. So he said, Lord, why have I done something wrong? Why am I feeling your grief? That you're angry with me? Are you upset with me? And the Lord told him, no, I'm not upset with you. I am grieving for my son, Osama bin Laden. I have lost him permanently. I gave him a chance to come back to me, and he refused. So I would tell them that God loves you no matter what you've done. Just give him a chance, surrender, and trust.
Okay.
Rodney.
Hey, that's deep.
That's deep.
That's deep. I don't know. I'm glad. I'm just going to, I got to be, I'm trying to be careful about what I say I will not do. So, but that's deep. That's deep for sure.
So Steve, now in your new journey, right? In your new journey, as you started to and begin to, look towards God for all things right now, how do you encourage people to come to Christ?
It's like we talked about it on Tuesday, man. Honestly, it's like you are who you hang around with. You show me your friends, and I'm gonna show you who you are. You know what I mean? And it's like, if you want a different life, you have to get away from your original surroundings, especially if they're doing all bad. You know what I mean? It's all it takes is one step forward to ask for help. You know what I mean? And that's something. How do I say? As a guy, as a man, 90% of men have too much pride to ask for help, ask for guidance. You know what I mean? Because we think we can do it on our own. And it just takes that one reach out to somebody. You know what I mean? That's already into the Lord, already into the Word. You know what I mean? And that's what I do. I reached out to the pastor. I started going to church, and I reached out to him, asked him for guidance and how I should go about this. I talked to my wife. My wife is deep into Christianity. She done read 5 Bibles. And I asked her for guidance as well, trying to change my life, trying to get it. Time to stop drinking, try to stop staying up to 2 o'clock in the morning. It's time to stop all that partying. You have to reach out. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to change. And that's, for some it's hard, for some it's easy. You know what I mean? For me, it took me a little bit, but by the grace of God, I'm changing. So,
what about you, Rodney?
The first thing I do, like I said the other day, is listen. Second is that, I tell them, I used to say, God ain't hiding from you. You know what I'm saying? He's there for you. If you want a relationship with him, then all you have to do is ask for it. All you have to do is sincerely want it and ask for it, and it will change your life. You know what I'm saying? I can show you from the outside, but God's going to change your inside. And do you want different? That is the first question I ask. Are you ready for different? because it's going to be different. It's not going to be something that you're comfortable with. It's not going to be something that, you know. And I also like the, you know, I have the fact that you know, I'm showing the difference. You know, if anybody who knew me from years ago to today, you know, and even you're able to watch it if you're there, you know what I'm saying? And if you're not, I'll show you and tell you my testimonies. I'll show you and tell you all the things that God has done for me since I have dedicated my life to Him, and just the greatness and the joy of Him. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. So, you know, I think that answered the question. I hope so.
Yeah.
I loved all the answers because that is very true. All of y'all, what you said. But I think if I want to say something a little bit different, I always think about how Jesus says He came to bring life and life more abundantly. Mm-hmm. And so I would really try to focus on understanding, or try to make them understand that there's an inner awakening, there's communion with God, there's a meaningful existence. And that, you know, from Jesus's words and what He represented was love. And so I would try to, you know, incorporate how the life more abundantly is more of an existence, vitality. It's more of a fullness of being. It's really about who you are. We think of abundance and we can look at it in, you know, material wealth and material things and things like that. But it's more of a mindset. Abundant life is a mindset. And if we are thinking in a scarcity mindset, if we are thinking in a poor mindset, we will get the things of poor, woe is me lifestyle. You know, we have to think of ourselves, because Jesus said He came to bring life and life more abundantly. So what does that truly mean to us? That is a question we need to ask ourselves, because we read it in scripture, but do we know what that really means? Do we know what it really fully means when we want to disciple another person and tell them about Jesus and who Jesus was and what His journey was and His message? Because His message said He came to bring life. So what does that mean? So I would try to, you know, explain it in a way that would try to bring them out of the separation from God, bring them out of the mindset of a separation from themselves, in their inner thoughts, in their inner world, in their surroundings. Just like Steve says, sometimes you got to take yourself out of your surrounding, your environment, to put yourself in somewhere else to learn and grow. So yeah, it's something that we talk about, but when it comes to Jesus, that's all I really want to talk about. It's because Jesus is love. God is love. And we need to talk more about how to love one another, love ourselves first. You know, it's God is love. God is about you on the inner self, the inner world. What's your inner thoughts? And so connecting to a person on the inner part of themselves and their thought process and their behaviors, it can be uncomfortable for them, because, you know, nobody really wants to hear what they're doing wrong. You know, nobody really wants to hear when they, you know, doing things and it don't look good to another person. No, we don't want to hear that. But how do you get to a point where you say, when is enough for you and you want to change? When do you want better and life more abundantly? So.
Yeah, especially, you know, if I could chime in, especially when they want change and they keep saying it over and over and over, but they keep referring back to the old ways. It's like you keep saying you want change, but yet you're going right back into what you said you don't want to do no more. You know, it's like, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, you know, if you want change, you have to actually put dedication into it. You have to, you know, do it, not just talk about it. So,
yeah.
So
that, you know,
no, you go. Yeah, Rodney, you want to say something, Rodney?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. The more you build and grow and get that relationship with God, change will come. You know what I'm saying? It will come, but you really have to dedicate the things that you're doing, because I can lie to my wife, I can lie to Chef Dennis, I can lie to Lady T, Christine, my man Steven, I can lie to all y'all, but I can't lie to God. And when I'm sitting there and having these conversations with him, you know what I'm saying? My heart is my heart. He knows that I'm getting ready to go to the liquor store at 4:00 before I know it. You know what I'm saying? So, you have that conversation, you have that conversation with him. And if you're sincere and you're having it, when it get 4:00, you go, you know what? I'm not going to go to the liquor store today. You know what I'm saying? Because I want what I'm saying to God to be for real. I don't want this to be, what I can lie to my wife. No, I didn't go to the liquor store today. And I got the bottle hidden in the car, and I'll be like, oh, I'm going out for a ride when she takes a nap. You know what I'm saying? We've all done things where we've lied to people to keep on doing what it is that is our sin. But the other thing that I do bring up with people is that why are they still doing what they're doing? Mm-hmm. I ask that question. Why? Like, why are you still doing that? Like, give me the answer. I need to know. Because if sometimes the reason why they're doing it is the reason why you can get them to change if they realize that they're only doing it because I'm just used to doing it. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm doing it because when I was a child, I realized that was the way to cope. You know what I'm saying? Then I was like, well, let me show you a new way to cope. Let me see if I can find out, you find out that, you know why I've been doing it? Because I've been doing that for 15 years. Okay, well, let's try a new way of doing things. Let's see how it works. Give it a try. You know what I'm saying? So I always try to ask why. Because a lot of times you'll find out the real answer in the why opposed to the sin. So,
yeah, I agree with that, man. A lot of it, man, like most of the time, like it's because they're hurting for something, trying to numb the feeling, numb the pain for something, right. And I used to do that. I always referred back to going to get me a 12-pack of Miller Lite and, sitting back in the backyard and drinking a couple of brewskis and then just getting away from everything because it numbed that feeling. But then as time went on, you're only numbing that feeling for that day, for that moment. When you wake up in the morning, two things are going to happen. The same situation is going to be there and you're going to be hungover. You know what I mean? So, that's, I just finally came to realize, the only way to get through it, man, is with the man up above and, talking it out with him. So, yeah.
So Steve, who introduced you to God?
My wife.
Before the tragedy or after the tragedy?
Well, before the tragedy, you know what I mean? Because we've been together for, oh man, I hope she ain't listening. I think it's 15 years. Been married for 13 years. Yeah, my daughter's just to be 13, so we've been together 15 years. And she was a woman of Christ, her whole life. And I always make a joke every now and then, I was her project, you know what I mean? Because, I was bad, you know what I mean? And but she introduced me to it, and yeah, and then like it wasn't until that tragedy. Well, before that tragedy, I don't know if y'all want to get into it now, but when I almost lost my now 8-year-old daughter 8 years ago in my wife's womb. That's when I started really coming into Christ because it was a regular day, going for our regular checkup because we didn't find out we were pregnant until we were like 6 months. So we were going to the OBGYNs, do a regular checkup. Doctor was, touch around the stomach, see if he could hear the baby, heartbeat and all that good stuff. And, he had a worried look on his face, and he said, hey, I'm going to send you across the street to the hospital, for regular protocol. Me in the back of my head, back in the day, I was like, you a lie. What's going on? Tell the truth. He's like, no, it's regular protocol, we're going to make sure everything's okay. But when we get to the hospital, they already had 2 nurses and the doctor waiting for us to take us upstairs. And at that moment, when they took us into the room and they laid my wife on the bed and they told her to decide who she chooses, herself or the baby, because the baby's not breathing, and had her sign the paperwork, the waiver, and I lost it. You know what I mean? It's like, I was like, got kicked out the room for going crazy. And I just fell to my knees outside in the hallway. I said, God, I said, if you're really true God, if you say who you say you are, keep both of them, you know what I mean? And kind of emotional when I talk about it. I called my buddy, called my mom. I told him, hey, y'all know I'm not deep into God, fully, but if you can get your prayer warriors to pray And so God can hear y'all's prayers, let them both come out of it. It's like, I'd very much appreciate it. But I fell to my knees. And like I said, I told him, if you are who you say you are, you will let both of them come through. And like an hour later, 30 minutes to an hour later, a doctor came in. They brought in from San Antonio. And she's like, hey, are you Mr. McCormick? I was like, yeah. She said, I will take you back in that room. She's like, and if you act up, officer's going to take you to jail, whatever, because I'm not going to tolerate it, And so we went back in the room, and she put the stethoscope on my wife's stomach. She didn't hear nothing, so she turned her on her side. She got 2 fingers, and she just right in the stomach, and she didn't hear nothing. She moved her on the other side, and one more time, and heartbeat came back on. The baby started breathing. Heartbeat started going. Right there in front of everybody. Started crying, telling God, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, you're making a believer out of me. And then from there, that's when I started believing in Christ fully.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the life more abundantly, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, man, and now, what about you, Christine? What introduced you to that? Or who shall I say?
Oh, okay. I was born and raised in Uganda, East Africa, and my father took me to a boarding school when I was 5.5. So being separated from everyone I knew was a traumatizing situation. But the lady who was like the matron to the house, were like 100 kids sleeping in that place, but she would pray with us every night, and she read the Bible every night. That's how I got to know the Lord. But I kind of like, my family was, they had God on the shelf. They would go to Sunday only on Easter and Christmas. So when I went back home, I would kind of like, I had no disciple. So until when I was graduating from my elementary school, I attended a Reinhard Bonnke crusade that was held. He used to come to Africa a lot, and he would hold missions. I attended one of his crusades, and I saw miracles happen. I never heard about miracles. So I kind of like really dedicated my life to Christ then, and I was introduced to World Bible School. So I had correspondence with a lady from Indiana who took me through the whole Bible. She would send me lessons, I would fill it up, and that's how I was discipled. So when I went to high school, I was kind of like rooted. I joined the high school scripture union, that I was in the worship team. And when I went to college, same thing happened. So I kind of like have, the Lord led someone in my path in a boarding school that introduced me to the idea of Christ.
Wow. Okay. So can I ask you a quick question, Christine? Just out of curiosity, because so when was the first time you got your own actual Bible?
My own actual what?
Bible.
Oh, yeah. When I was in that boarding school, there's a pastor that saw me and he gave me a Bible. I don't know why. So at age 7, I started reading my Bible. I'll just sit there when kids would be playing. I'd be reading my Bible. I was so curious to know about the story of salvation and the story of Adam and Eve. I'd only read those stories that I could understand, but that's when I started reading my Bible. Yeah, age 7. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was curious. All right. Go ahead, Chef Dennis.
Huh?
I said, go ahead. You got your next question, man?
Yeah, tell us who really. Well, you told us. We like Lady T and myself know, but tell them who introduced you to Christ.
I mean, my mom did as a child. I started going. I was a part of all like the church groups. We had it back then. It was called Royal Rangers and things like that. But once my father died when I turned 11, my mom then ended up in the hospital, and after that it was pretty much no hold barred. I was doing anything and everything that I wanted to do. I say probably about age 13 through 14, I was stealing cars, doing whatever it took, whatever it was, and I was just being rebellious because I didn't understand why my father. I saw my dad. My dad was a part of my life, and then one day he was just gone. Like it was no, and they did a terrible job explaining it to me. I do want to say that as an 11-year-old. They did a terrible job explaining it to me. They told me he was dead, but then his best friend picked me up in his work truck. So I was even more confused. I was like, well, his work truck's here. He should be here, you know. So I spent from 11 to 18 really rebelling. And also I felt like if I kept on doing things, that my dad would come back. You know what I'm saying? Like if I kept on acting a fool, whatever the case may be, that somehow it'll come back. And then when that didn't work, then I started playing football. I became topping, you know, all Metro, all this football because my dad loved football, and I thought that was going to have him come back. And then, you know, but I had it in my heart from after that in the beginning with my mom, and then I eventually got reunited back with my mom at 17. And, you know, then I had met my wife, and, you know, it took some time. God told me 15 years ago I'd be working with the youth in ministry. I ran for that for 15 years. So, you know, it was something that, and one thing I do realize now that when I was a child, I dreamt a lot. And I used to hate the dreams and things like that. But now I realize that was God keeping me even then. You know what I'm saying? That was God talking to me even then. That was him, you know, showing me that he was always there. You know, I can look back on it all now and kind of understand it more, but God always showed me he was there. There was several incidents that I shouldn't have lived from during that time. There was a time I had a gun in my face, it didn't go off. There was a time that I was doing all kinds of crimes and whatever, and you know, and God I always knew he had something for me, but I was running from it. So now I'm trying to live life abundantly, Lady T. So, you know, I've been doing now, you know, I've gotten to the point that I'm just doing whatever God is telling me to do. I'm doing it. I'm in the moment now of where I really feel like I'm getting ready to come out of everything and into his abundantness. I now am a leader in my church. I now do, you know, tough talk with men, and he's just been revealing more and more to me now. So my mom was the original person that introduced me.
I can speak for this time. I'll speak for me and Lady T, because we family. We come from the same loin, same background. Like my mom's and dad had us in church every Sunday. We went to Bible study, all that stuff. Every day was about church. It was church. Family reunion, church. So, you know, I feel like when we was growing up, once we got older, we wowed out. Because they had us in. Like we wasn't exposed to all that wild and rowdy life when we were young. It was all about family. We was all close knitted. And so when we got old, I know when I got older and Lady T got older, we was like, you know what? I had enough. I want to go out and you know, explore the world.
Yeah.
Am I telling the truth, Lady T?
Well, I was wild, you know, young, so he wasn't as wild as I was. So I was living that. So yeah, I definitely was. Remember, I listened to rap music. You know, I definitely did. You didn't listen to right? No, mine was a little bit different.
No, we had the hard hours because when Dad was home, we ain't watching none of that stuff. He like, hey, cut that off, turn it off. Yeah. So it was, but when I look back on my life, man, I was like, man, how God just kept us. You know, he just hovered over us, man. It's just amazing. Like, and now the zeal that I have to serve God now, I look back, it was the seed. I asked you guys that because there was a seed that was sowed in each one of us. And in that seed, listen, God was right along with us, nurturing us, allowing us to go to each storm while he was covering us. Because guess what? Look where we are today. We're here standing, talking about the word of God, talking about our journey and encouraging other people in this world how to come out of that darkness, how to come out of that bondage, you know, that barrier that is formed by sin. Because guess what? Some people think drinking is okay. Like, I ain't talking about having to drink 1, 2, 3. I'm talking about getting twisted and getting behind the wheel, thinking that's okay. Having some drugs injected in their body because they're hurting, thinking that it's okay. That's what keep them in bondage. Because and also we got to remember those things that keep them in bondage. Where is their community? Do they have a community that can love on them? And that's why I got the body of Christ. It tells us to come together with other believers.
Well, what do you mean? My alcoholic community loved me. I always brought alcohol. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's a point.
When I came in with 2 handles of vodka, everybody in the party loved me.
Hey, Rodney.
The question would be, where is the community of Christ? You know,
where they loved you.
Like
they loved
just looking for our own, connecting with our own like-minded. You know,
that's it. It was like, yes, we got the enemy to your soul. Was like, yes, we got Rodney. Come on, Rodney, yeah.
Hey, we don't gotta spend money. Rodney got it.
They knew exactly. If anybody wanted to drink, they knew exactly where to go. Come to my house. I got liquor.
Look, and they kept you for a long time, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. You know.
Hey, look, think about this. What the liquor store says? What do it say? What's the name of the stores? Spirits, home liquors, home goods. Yeah, it's something good in it, all right, for you. Put your mind, alter your thinking. That's what it does. It alters your thinking.
Everyday low prices.
Hey, Christina, you ain't wild out when you was younger, or you just was locked in the Word of God?
I'm one of those that, like, life wasn't always easy, but I'm one of those who was like more of like the quiet, obedient guy. Because I remember in the boarding school, we had this corporate punishment. So like we were like 100 plus kids in a class. When the teacher would step out, everyone would start screaming. So the teacher would come back and line us outside and spank all of us for making noise while he was away. So one day he decided, the 2 teachers decided that we're going to exempt her because she is naturally quiet.
No.
So they would punish everyone while I would be sitting watching, Yeah, but I wouldn't say my life like was easy or straightforward. My life has been resisted so much. There've been so many setbacks. And yet, like I would say that I've always been the person to obey the law and try to obey parents and all that. Yeah. But I can't say that just because of that, the things have been easy. No, it's been a rock. Yeah.
This walk ain't easy. So I can't nobody say living for God is easy. Some people say that, oh, it's easy. Huh? He don't even say it in his word that it's going to be easy. He didn't say marriage was going to be easy. He said, no, it's going to be tough times. It's going to be hard times. But I'll be your comforter. I'll deliver you out of everything. Trust me. Believe in me, and I'll bring you out of anything.
Yeah, and it's going back to what Rodney was saying earlier. You know what I mean? Like growing up in your household, when everybody's drinking, the drinking was the normal. It's just the same as my household. You know what I mean? Like, you go to church, get out of church. What's the first thing you do? You pull up to the store. Your uncles, your mom, your dad, they get a 12-pack, 18-pack. Go to grandma's house, sit out there with grandma, grandpa, all your aunts and uncles and all that, and you just sit in a circle and just drink beer. You know what I mean? And everybody thought it was normal. I was the bartender there. You know what I mean? Just sitting there young, just like, this is the new normal. You know what I mean? So when growing up about, and knowing, hey, okay, like Rodney said, like I'm growing up, I'm doing the same thing because it's normal, right? But the marriage part, I'd tell you what, whoever said marriage was easy, oh no, they lied. Because I tell you what, the first 2 years of our marriage, it really showed us who we really were with one another. Because like when you're together, okay, yeah, she live over there, you live over there. You're not staying with each other. you know, and then when you finally move in with each other and you put that ring on the finger, till death do us part. I tell you what, boy, there's my headaches right there sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can't tell it.
I'm gonna tell you something, Steve, that is my philosophy now.
Yeah.
And that I'm married, and that it is easy for a woman to follow a man who's following God. So that is my thing. I say every day that I'm going to follow God and make it easy for my wife to follow me as long as I'm following God. So,
man, it's crazy you said that. Chef, what we talk about Tuesday?
I'm sorry.
And what we talk about Tuesday? What Rodney just said, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, and I said, well, like it's reversed. You know, because my wife is following Christ. You know what I mean? And like I'm following Christ for, you know, because of my wife. She's getting me more into it. Like I was telling Chef Tuesday, you know what I mean? When she's reading the Bible, you know, I'm asking her, what does that mean? You know, hey, can you explain this? You know, and she's like, she'll stop her reading and she'll come out and tell me, she'll explain it word for word, you know, paragraph for paragraph. And I was like, man, that's interesting. And I was like, I told her that this is how I want to be. You know what I mean? I want to just, when somebody asks me, boom, I got that answer. You know what I mean? And that's just like, she's deep into it. Like I was telling Chef the other day, my wife read 5 Bibles already and she's read them multiple times. And she's also read the book of Enoch twice. You know what I mean? And like I was telling her the other day, I was like, I ain't ready for that one. I was like, I said, I don't, my faith ain't that strong yet because I ain't trying to have nightmares. And my wife will tell you, you know, you have to be strong spirit and strong will to read the book of Enoch. You know, because every time she reads a Bible, she gets a different meaning from it. And it's like, well, what did you get out of this time? And she'll go into it. She'll start paraphrasing and telling me. I was like, man, you know what? I said, man, I love you so much, man. I said, because you know what? I want to be like you when I grow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, she tells me that.
I'm surprised Chef didn't but humbug that, because he always telling me I got to be a leader, and I tell him that I'm a follower. I was like, nah, I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. He's the leader of my household, not me. So, you know, but I guess maybe for you, he came up with a different opinion.
Show me a little bit of sympathy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but nah, it's a wonderful thing, man. I'm glad that you know. But I mean, yeah. So it's a lovely thing. Believe me. No matter who it is that it can teach you and show you and guide you. You know what I'm saying? So hey, and you get to sleep with her. Shoot, that sounds like a win-win to me.
Hey, Rodney. Hey, Rodney. You are absolutely right. Your story and his story is different. Right. It's different. Guess what? His wife is being his comforter right now. She is more rooted and more enriched in the word of God. So yes, she got him. But guess what? As he grow, right? Guess what? His journey and his desire is going to change. And guess what? She's going to sit back and listen to, and they're going to collaborate together. You, on the other hand, you a bold person already. So in your walk and his walk is different. You understand me? So that's why I say what I say to him, to you. You come on, I know you. Like I just met him. I know you. You a bold person. And don't act like I'm going to the smoke. So you're different.
I wasn't a bold person. I just said that I'm following Christ. I'm not the leader of my household. Christ is the leader of my household. I follow him. My line leader name is Jesus Christ. I stand behind him, then my wife, and then my children. That's my line leader. I am not the line leader. I follow where he goes. And that's the end of that.
What are you hear him, Christina?
Yes, and I'm saying that's beautiful to hear, because there are not so many men that would say, I've surrendered my home to the Lord. Like, it's more like, I am the lion here and no one other, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's beautiful to hear him say that. And I think, like, I'm sure it's like helping your relationship with your wife even grow stronger as she sees you. Yeah.
My relationship with my wife has been fantastic since I've implemented that. Absolutely. Yeah. And I tell her, and you know what I tell her, Stephen? I tell her, if I don't sound like God, then I want you to question. Like, my wife has a relationship with God too. I don't, I'm not hindering her relationship. I want to sound like him. So if I say something to you and I don't sound like God, then I want you to question me. I don't want you to sit here and just follow me blindly. Nah, you know what I'm saying? That's what the Bible's here. Like be like, nah, show me that in the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I want to, because that's what I feel a true marriage is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It's two people together on the same journey to be with God. We're both in the same car now. Maybe I'll drive, but hey, that don't mean that we're not on the same journey. And that's what I believe is more important. And people get what I call, they get wrapped up in the minutia and think about, oh, well, I'm not going to be his servant or his helpmate or whatever, that case may be. Nah, bro. It don't matter. We in the same car. You know what I'm saying? We go in the same place trying to get to the same person. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter who's driving and who's not driving, Steven. So
I agree with you, but I gotta disagree with you because my wife don't know how to drive, so I gotta drive. You know what I mean? She can talk to me in my ear, but she a crazy driver, brother. So yeah, teach me while I'm driving.
It sounds like if in years past, if she wasn't driving, y'all would be at the liquor store.
Yeah. Or if I was buzzed, I'd say, hey, take me to the stove, and then I won't have to watch it drive because I'm already seeing two. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, but if I had drove in the past, trust me, we would have been at the liquor store, not at the church. So
yeah, most definitely. But all jokes aside, man, I understand what you're talking about, brother. But she is a horrible driver, though. She scared me when she drives.
Oh, don't worry. My wife doesn't drive the car either. I won't get in it. My wife has had more.
Hey, y'all better stop talking about your wives, man. They might be listening. Get y'all.
Right in the room, so I tell her all the time, baby, you scared me.
My wife hit the same car 3 times. How do you do that?
Well, she's going to watch this.
Man, you said she wrecked the car 3 times?
She hit the same car 3 times.
Oh, she hit the same car.
Occasions.
Oh,
the
man.
Same car she hit because she never looks backing out of our driveway. And my brother used to park his car on the opposite side, and she would back out and hit it. She hit his car 3 different times on 3 different occasions. Yeah. So anyway, my bad.
Man.
Yeah. So, but I trust her driving me to where God wants us to be. I do trust her.
Oh, most definitely. I'll let her take the wheel on that one anytime. You know what I'm saying, brother? Absolutely. But man, speaking of car, I don't know if it's appropriate or whatever, but it is kind of sort of. But you know how I was telling my wife got hit by that drunk driver, and that's it's kind of crazy how you said she hit the same car 3 times. You know what I mean? On November 16th, 2024. Y'all remember Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fighting?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we were me and my son were outside watching on the big screen, watching the fight. And I like I told you about my child, basically almost died in my wife's stomach or whatever, and I gave myself to Christ. Well, I started, taking that back, and started back drinking and all that stuff, just drinking. And November 16th, 2024, my wife had called me when she got off work, and she was telling me, she said, hey, babe, just got off work, just closed up shop. She said, I'll see you in 20 minutes. I was joking with her. I said, hey, just when you pull up, we're in the driveway. Don't run us over. We got the screen in the driveway. She said, okay. She said, ha. We hung up. Not even 10 minutes later, my SUV calls me, and you can hear people screaming in the background. Get her out the car. Get her out the car. It's on fire. It's on fire. Her seatbelt was, I was listening to all this. Her seatbelt was locked. It was stuck. And they said, seatbelt stuck. Cut it off. Cut it off. Cut it off. And they cut the seatbelt off, drug her out the car. She was unconscious. And I'm hearing all this, like, what is going on? Like, hello? And it's like, I wouldn't, it's like, what the heck is going on? And then somebody answers, hey, is this her husband or who is this? I see husband on the phone. And I said, yeah, this is her husband calling. Your wife just got hit and the guy took off running. I was like, where's she at? She's like, we're over here off of Barbarossa. And from where she's at to where from my house is, it's like 25 minutes. I jumped in my truck, hit 110 miles per hour all the way down, got there in 15 minutes. And the whole way up there, I was praying, you know, and I've been drinking, you know what I mean? You know, I already had like probably eight Miller Lights in me already. And I was drinking. I was a little buzzed, but like I said, it took me 15 minutes to get up there. And when I got to the crash scene, one of the firefighters was right there. I said, "Hey, where's my wife at?" He said, "Your wife was in the SUV." I was like, "Yeah." "Where's she at?" He said, "She's gone." Oh, well, my heart dropped. Stomach went to my throat. And then the officer behind him heard him telling me that. He said, "Mr. McCormick, she's not gone. She's not gone. She's at the hospital." And right there and then he told the firefighter, yeah. He said, "You need to start choosing your words." Because right there and then, like, it's like I sobered up. You know, not really, but I sobered up. You know what I mean? So the hospital's like not even probably 200 yards from the crash scene. And from where she got hit at the red light, the drunk driver was in an F-450, hit her so hard it drug her like 50, 60 yards into the store parking lot.
Dang.
And so I fly over to the hospital, and they wouldn't let me in the back. You know, and like, you know, I was still buzzed, still drunk, and they wouldn't let me back there. Like, you can't go back there; she's still unconscious. And like when she comes conscious, when she comes to, we'll let you back there. So I fall to my knees again. I was like, "Lord, you know I said it before. I said, but this time I'm serious. You know, get my wife through this. Don't take her from me. Don't take her from my kids. You know, I said, I'll do. I am yours from now on." And she finally came to. They finally let me back there. And she had a broken arm, broken ribs, a major concussion, like where she split her arm. It broke it in 3 spots. It damaged her nerves, so her hand stuck like this, and it's still stuck like that right now. And her arm stuck into an L with nerve damage. And right there and then, I threw the beer away. I came home that night. Well, that 5 o'clock in the morning, I pour all the beer down the toilet, down the sink, you know, and yeah, I was done. I was like, you know what? And right there and then, man, I tell you what, I felt so much relief that, you know, he could have took her away from me and my kids. You know what I mean? And, you know, when it's your time, he's going to take you. You know what I mean? He's the only one that knows when it's your time. You know, and with her being so deep into Christ, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, she hasn't served her purpose yet. You know, you can't take her from me, you know, and I was being selfish saying you can't take her from me, you know what I mean? But, you know, really my kids as well. And, man, I tell you what, there's no better feeling than giving yourself to Christ right there and then. And I've been sober ever since.
You know, you did it because of love, right? You did it right because you love your wife so much. That's it. Yeah. To give, you have a love, like, you know, of giving your life. You want to give so much of yourself that you want to see her live. And so that's beautiful.
Yeah, most definitely. Mm-hmm. So ever since then, I ain't touched liquor, alcohol. So every now and then she get on my nerves now, you know, whatever. But I want to drink a beer, but other than that, nope, I gave it away.
That's right. And, you know, when I listen to like I told you about it, you know what it is for me, and now we talk about the barrier for my sin. So for me, it's just like when I was listening to that, all I could think about is true surrenderance. True surrenderance. And that's what you did. You true surrenderance. You give it all to God.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where it's at right there, man. Just truly surrendered unto God. Listen, you can be a righteous, holy person for Christ, right? And still enjoy life.
Yeah.
And still have fun. You can. No, he never said serving me is not fun. Serving me, you're gonna have a sad life. No. He said, you're going to go through things. You're going to be tested. You have to endure the storm because I'm going to be there for you. Yeah. I'm your comforter. I'm the healer, the way maker. He makes a way out of no way. That's what he does. And it's
a different kind of joy seeing somebody give their life to Christ.
Oh, most definitely.
It's different. I can't even think of anything in this world that compares to that joy, to see somebody dedicate and give their life for Christ and start walking for Christ. I mean, it is just a different feeling. You know what I'm saying? So
what was that song we listened to the other day? Holy Disciple, Faith Under Construction.
Faith Under Construction. I had something on. You came a little late. I had something else on. But yeah, that's what that look. I mean, and Christina, you wanted those soft angels. You ain't do too much. She said, I ain't do too much. Nah, not me. I did everything. But you know what? When I look back, I'm glad I did all those things, because you know what? It helped shape and mold me to be this man I am today. Have a fire for God, have a zeal for God. Listen, can't nobody steal my joy.
Yeah.
I said it yesterday. I said it tomorrow. I said it the next day. That's one thing he can't do. He seek who he may devour, who he may destroy, the enemy. But guess what? The joy of the Lord for me, he can't steal that. He can't rob me of that.
Yeah, and like after I gave myself to the Lord, you know what I mean? That's what inspired me to write my book. You know what I mean? And like telling, it's about struggle and hurt and self-doubt and all that. It's called Anchored in God. And that's why, I just published it 2 months ago, last month. And like we were talking about the other day, I keep referring back to Tuesday. If I can just reach one person, with my story, letting them know that God, they can get through it with God and they don't have to do it by themselves, then I think I did my part, So, yeah.
And it's a good, like, a testimony for those who are stuck in that type of like lifestyle. If they see like someone like Stephen or someone like Chef, they'll kind of like, they say, oh, if he has made it, I will make it too. Like, I like my story. I'm like, I've always had that plateau, like straight life, but like it's a kind of like a challenge, like it's a inspiration for those who are struggling. They want to come out, but they don't know how. So they look at your lives and it's a testimony of how God has transformed you. Yeah,
definitely. One thing, my thing was, I always talk about this because that was my turning point. My dark spot place is when I was going through a divorce. Like, my parents went through a divorce. So seeing how that was, I was like, I ain't want to be like that. And so what did happen? I turned up having to get divorced. It was a bad space, because guess what? Like Rodney said, I want to be in the same home with my children. I don't want nobody else around, no other man around my kids. So that's what took a toll on me, not being able to be there every day with my daughter. That put me in a bad space, a bad headed space. And so when I came out, I looked at my life. I said, Lord, thank you for covering me, because there were so many things that was going through my mind at that moment. Like we talk, I think most men that go in the dark space, I think they go to the bottom. It's not that the drugs. It's because that's where I feel like we're attacked the most, because our minds begin to be altered when you drinking. There's something about your mind begin to be altered when you drinking. And
I think it's easy access, and the world has made it acceptable. You know what I'm saying? The world has made it acceptable. Like, you can be an alcoholic and go to, say, I wouldn't say go to work, but you know what I'm saying? They don't care as long as you show up for work. You know what I'm saying? If you go home and drink every day, they don't care as long as you show up for work.
They have breathalyzers for vehicles. So you're right, Rodney. Go to work. Think about that. Yeah. Like, how they have it where you get in the car and it starts your car for you. So you're right. Yeah. They normalize it.
Yeah.
And just that you said that, Rodney, I don't know about you guys, but let me ask Christina first. Christina, are you attending a church right now?
I attend a church online, and And that is because I went through a situation that was beyond my control, a church abuse situation. I'm not able to talk about it on media, but it's kind of like I had to attend church online because of that reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I was going to ask you was this.
Mm-hmm.
Are there a lot of men in your church?
There are a lot of what? Men?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That has always been my question. I remember talking about it with my daughter. It's like, when it comes to Christian settings, I've always found more women, than men in the church, in the Christians. Because I remember as a little girl in Uganda, I used to attend these crusades. I was hungry for God. I didn't know why. I just wanted to know this God that had been introduced to me. And I would attend these crusades like Reinhard Bonnke and T.L. Osborne, and I'd always be on the front. But when I look back, I would see that there were more women and children than men. And I would always ask, where are the men?
Now,
yeah.
We talk about the barrier formed by sin.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think, this is a real question, why do you think that majority of churches have a shortage of men in the house of worship?
Actually, that's a question I think the brother should answer. It's been a question I've been.
Of course, not you ladies. Now, of course, I'm talking to Steve and Rodney. Why do you
ain't talking to me because you know how I feel about that.
I want to know the answer because I'm stuck.
Yeah, Rodney, I want to know the answer too.
You're going to the wrong church because at my church, the men are there, present, and accounted for. So I don't know. Certain pastors cater to their audience. Certain people do certain things. So I don't know. I know that we got Tough Talk at my church, which is a men's ministry. Mm-hmm. We got the youth ministry ran by men. You know what I'm saying? And my pastor is a man, but we have women. We also have women who preach. We got Kanite is another person that comes up, and when pastor's not there, she preaches. So, but at my church, men are there. Marriages are happening. You know what I'm saying? Marriages are happening at my church. Children are being born, all that stuff. So I don't know. Whenever somebody says that to me, like, oh, there's only, I mean, I don't know what's going on in your church. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I do know that some pastors do cater to their audience, and that's what they do. And a lot of them believe that if the women are there, the men will come. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But for me personally, my ministry is working with young men, and my ministry is working with the youth. So, if you're looking for them, you'll find them right after this. I got Tough Talk Men's Bible Study. You want to join, Stephen? You're more than welcome to be invited.
What time?
Like we here. You just gotta look for them. That's how I look at it. If you
what time, brother?
If you ain't looking for it, you ain't
8 o'clock.
8
o'clock.
So
8 o'clock. What time are you in?
He the same time as me, so that'll be
right after the show. I'll hop on. Yeah,
right after the show. You can
But anyway,
but Rodney,
yes,
I know this is not for the ladies, but look, hey Steve, what about you? How do you feel? Do you feel like there's a shortage of men going to church?
Well, just like Rodney said, like the church we go to is it's 50% men, 50% women. You know what I mean? It's like our church is full. It has both of them in there. So they might be going to the wrong church, or like you also got that dynamic as well. A lot of men are like, oh, church is just asking for money. They're asking for money. I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I mean? But then again, I don't know, man, because like Rodney said, my church is equal.
And plus it'd be a lot of men in the background. The sound crew, the light crew, the janitorial crew, whatever the case may be. Yeah. To me, that's where a lot of men be also, or they're on the deacon's board or whatever the case may be. I mean, my church has both in them, so I don't know, but Yeah, bro. I wouldn't go to a church with all women, but I'm married, so I guess I wouldn't care. That wouldn't be my thing anyway. So I don't know. But I believe that if your church don't got a men's ministry, that means you there to start it. That's how I look at it. So you there to start it. Yes, sir.
Have you traveled to other churches and visit other churches?
I have in the past, but if I didn't feel welcome or it wasn't a place, then I didn't continue going there.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just talking about just visit, worship. I mean, a fellowship, other fellowship. I've
gone to other churches. Yes, I've gone to other churches. I don't know what you want out of that.
Have you seen a lot of men? Have you seen a lot of men?
I'll be honest with you. I don't count. Like I'm not there for the men or the women. I'm not. I have not been to a church. I've not been to a church and be like, wow, there's a lot of women here. Where are the men at? I have not had that experience.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I visited probably 2 other churches from here, and to be honest, I don't pay attention to it. I'm just there to listen to the word, But that's just me. But majority of the time, I'm going online because I work on Sundays. So yeah. So on Sundays, I go to my office, close the door, turn on church. You know what I mean? But yeah. But when I do go and visit other churches, I don't pay attention.
So I think you need to start a men's ministry at your church, Chef Dennis, if that's an issue for you.
So when I go to other churches, sometimes I feel like an outcast. You know what I mean? So it's I'm gonna sit in the back. I'm gonna just try to listen.
Hold on. Wait. What you just say to me, Rodney?
So maybe you should start the men's ministry at your church if that's an issue for you.
Lady T, I can't even believe he fixed his lips for that. Am I not part of King Movement? Do I not travel for other men to
say fraternity? I said,
hey, don't do that. Don't do that. You know what? Don't do that. Christina is not a fraternity. No, I don't play those games. No. I only serve the
king. Get a Lord.
Look, the king. That is it. I only worship the king. That is it.
King. Is there kings in here? No, there's many kings or something.
No, but I'm a part of an organization. It's King Movement, and what we do is we definitely focus on helping men come to Christ, building a men's foundation where we grow together as men, and teaching our families and our kids how to be leaders of our family, how to be leaders of our community, how to pour back into our community, but also, teaching them how to follow Christ, what it is to follow Christ, what it looks like, or being an example, a living example to the young men, to the even older men, because they can too be in places where we call it the sunken place, or their dark place, their dark space, or so that's what that is about. King Movement is about that, and I travel. I travel
all over. Organization, and you say there's no men in the church, but your whole organization is about men.
That's why we travel. There is listen. The men are under attack. Women are not under attack like men are.
That's because God.
No. No, it's not. It's reality, bro. It's reality. A lot.
You can say that is ludicrous to me.
Okay, Christina.
Women are under attack.
Let's go. I'm gonna talk to Christina and see what she say. All right, since you say no. Now listen. Do men feel like they can't open up publicly because of what?
That's a leading question.
Yeah.
Pride.
What are you talking about, man?
What you talking about? Men have pride.
Right, I don't think we're going back to bury your sin, because I'm not going to even let
Christine go. Pride is a sin.
How do you sound by saying you think the devil is sitting there going, you know what? I'm just going to attack men this week, and I'm going to leave the women alone because they're doing great over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? We're all under attack. There's no. You know what? I'm going to send 51%. For the men and 49 for the women. Nah, bro, we both under attack. Women are under attack in ways that we can't even imagine as men. They can go outside and be attacked, harassed, like what's it called? They can do all kinds of stuff that we don't have to deal with. There's a whole abortion program dedicated to women. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to deal with that. We don't have to worry about all these people telling them that abortion is okay. These things are okay. It's okay to be, it's okay to get on this pole and shake your behind. It's okay to do all these things. We don't have to deal with that. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm taking y'all shine. One of y'all.
So, Lady T, so what do you think about this discussion, Miss Lady T?
This is how we get off track.
I'm sorry.
No,
I was like,
we actually on track is because guess what? What keeps the men out of church? What keeps them? There is something that keeps.
I think it's messaging. All about messaging. Everything is a message. Your message has to draw people. If you are not drawing people to your church, then your message needs to be evaluated. Because if Rodney and Steve are in churches, they have 50-50, they have the men and the women, then the message is being spoken in a way that all are being drawn, no matter if it's male or female. So it is about your words. If your message is about the Bible and you are giving the good word of God and you are drawing people into the church, that is how you are supposed to be. You are discipling.
Hey, and look, Rodney and Steve, do not take this the wrong way. What I'm about to ask y'all, okay? This is not a funny question. It's a real question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Rodney and Steve, I ask you this. You said there are a lot of men into your church, right? How many of those men are your friends?
None.
Rodney,
Steve is accountable.
No. How many of those men are your friends? Be real.
I don't have friends.
Yeah, watch this. I'm gonna show you. It's not to be funny. This is
because women congregate different than men.
So is women go to church and they mingle with other women and they fellowship with other women that is in that sanctuary. Is that correct?
Men go to learn, women go to conversate. I'm just joking.
No. That's a good point. But watch this.
Hey, look, I'm gonna go ahead and bow down gracefully from this conversation because once again, this conversation is not realistic. It's not like I mean because once okay, all right, okay. Can I call these men at my church? Anytime, any place, absolutely. Do I believe that do I consider them friends? No, I don't have many friends. I got 3 people I know. I got 3 a.m. friends and I got 6 p.m. friends. Chef Dennis, you are a 6 p.m. friend. I can call you before 6 p.m. Now I got a 3 a.m. friend that I can call at 3 a.m. and they're going to answer that phone. So I consider that person my real friend. Like I'm not, you even told me you wouldn't bail me out of jail. And what happened when you asked my friend? My friend said I would because if I'm not in there with them, then he didn't do nothing big. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how men have friends. Women, I don't even know how they have friends because I'm not a woman, but I'm okay with that anyway. But we all have struggles. We all do something different. We all have a different thing that we have to deal with on a day-to-day. Christine has something different that she has to deal with. So does Lady T. So do I. So just because we dealing with different things doesn't make anybody less, more, the men are really under attack. Yeah, we're all under attack. The devil don't care. He want all of us to come with him to hell. He ain't looking at the men any different than the women. So, yeah, I'm good with this argument. Like,
I'm just trying to figure something out, Christina. And I heard you say earlier that what he said, right? He said, a man that follows Christ, it makes it easy for a woman to follow him, right? Did he not say that?
Yeah.
So, if the men are not being led by God and the women are with these men, what are they doing? If they don't have a relationship with God, what are they doing?
We're talking about a marriage. There's plenty of women going to go to heaven without a man.
Hold up. There's plenty of women that have
that are
married
going to go
men.
to heaven without a man. There's plenty of them that are going to go without a man. They don't need a man to go to heaven.
But Steve's example of his own life is a beautiful example of how his wife was always in the church, and it brought him into, you know, the experiences of his life and their life together. So that's usually how it works. A woman goes to church and she will go to church and she gets all the knowledge and the information, and she will, you know, find a man. The man will find her, and then they will come together. And sometimes it might take a little longer for the man to come to church with the wife, but it will happen most of the time, I will say. Yeah. So I say most of the time. Most of the time.
So you still don't get it, Rodney? You still
no? I don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it when people try to make it like men and women are different. No, we're both children of God. God looks at us equally, and so does the devil. So there's no like men are more under attack than women. I don't believe that. I can't believe that because I am married to a beautiful woman who I know is under attack also. Like that, the devil he don't care. He's here to take our soul. He don't care whether we're male, female, short, tall, black, white. He don't care. He wants to own our souls. So none of that makes difference. The only people that care about men or women are you.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Christina, what does the word of God say about a man that finds a wife?
A man that what?
A man that finds a wife.
Finds a good thing.
He finds a good thing.
What does that have to do with anything?
You marry, right?
Oh, me, no, not
you, Christine. I'm talking about Roddy. You married, right?
Are we still on this?
Are you married?
Yes, you know I'm married. Yes.
So you have a great responsibility.
So you don't think my wife will, if I don't do my responsibility, you think my wife is going to stop doing hers?
Your punishment will be greater than hers.
I don't know if there's levels to hell.
Oh, okay.
So if there's levels to hell, let me know.
Your punishment will be greater.
If that's the case, I would like to get off on the first floor of hell. Like, there's no levels to hell. Hell is hell, man. Like, what does that matter? The punishment is hell. The punishment is being the absence without God. There's no levels to that. So how is my punishment going to be more worse? If we're both in hell, we're both there.
But I think you're missing. I think you're, and I might be missing it as well. But I think what he's trying to say is, if the devil gets to the male, he tears up the household, and everything falls apart.
Yeah, I think like it comes to.
Am I right?
Yeah, it comes to like hitting the shepherd, so you can scatter the sheep. So like normally, like in any war, even in modern warfare, they always go for the leaders. Once you take out the leader, it's easier to take out the subordinates. So that's the way I see it. That like so it requires like the ministry leaders to maybe reach out, find programs that will reach out to the men, and they will see that it's worth their time, you know, to build that relationship, to have that, to be a part of a group of men that in a church setting, in a men's group that goes out and maybe they go to camps and they do some fun stuff. Women are relational, so they'll relate at any level, but men, like, you need to pull them a little further. So I think like having men's retreats and men's Bible studies like can help, you know.
But I'm here because, like I said, we don't argue here, but it's a conversation. But Ronnie, I'm conversating with you though. But the thing about it that's in my spirit is this: you actually do not believe and think that when the man is under attack, how detrimental that is to the family. If he's under attack, the family will surely fall. The wife can have her own relationship with God, but guess what? You got to remember, you have children, not you per se. I'm talking about men. They have children under them that are looking to you for advice. Yes, they look to mom, but you hold a different standard, a different outlook on your children. But when you are walking in God and you're being led by God, they see a living example of who Christ is. Without that, guess what? They will go out and do those things that you did not have a desire for them to do. They're going to do it. Statistics says that, not because of me, but statistics says that. When you take the man out of the house, right? The kids run ragged. They do whatever they want. There's no discipline. There's no structure.
Unfortunately,
you in denial. I think you in denial.
Okay, well, let's slow it down. First of all my kids are great. I was a sinner. So that in itself tears your so-called statistics apart. Stephen, I can assume his wife. Are your kids running rampant, Stephen?
Did you say a white?
No, your wife. Your wife was prevalent in your household, correct? Are your kids running rampant?
When I'm gone, yeah. With my wife. My wife said yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Lady T, was you running? Hold up, Lady T. Hold up, wait a minute. Lady T, was you running rampant? Go ahead.
Let me finish my point real quick. My point is this, man. My point is this. God can do anything. Nothing is prevalent on any one person. So my wife, my children, all that, their life does not depend on me. So I can make mistakes. I can do this, and God is still God. So therefore, there's this idea of I have to be the perfect man, or I have to be this certain way to hold my kids or my wife or this, that, and the other. That is a lie. God can do whatever he wants. He can use anyone. So it ain't just me. But yes, in my household, I am a follower. Mm-hmm. Christ is the leader in my household. So as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, yes, it does follow when God is talking about marriage, he's talking about a man who is following Christ. He's not talking about all these people in this world that are not. He's not talking about them. He's talking about if you follow me, your wife follows you, your children follow. That is how I designed it. That is how he designed. That's what he's talking about. He's not saying, now, if the husband ain't doing right, that ain't who he's talking to. So you're taking something that God is not talking about and applying to what God is talking about. God is talking about how he designed the marriage. And he designed the marriage, and the first thing he says is that the husband is to follow me. Mm-hmm. Then he says the wife is to follow the husband. And that is just putting it in order. But he's talking about in that perfection. He's not talking about how this world has skewed it at all. So it don't matter about all these people talking about the kids are running rampant, all this other kind of stuff. No, God is talking about this is the way it's supposed to be. And if you follow that, you will have a great relationship and a great marriage. But the first person you ought to follow is Christ. Mm-hmm. So I'm done arguing about men, women, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with it because Chef, it saddens me when you take that stance that like women are lesser in any way. It really saddens me because they're not.
You didn't hear me say that.
We're both. So you're saying that men are under attack more than women. That's not true. That is a lie. That is a lie that the world puts out there. Men and women are under the same attack for their soul. So I'm done with it. I'm good.
Well, this was a great conversation.
How you doing, Christine? Please tell this man you are under attack. Tell tell this man that it is not the devil wants us all. He not coming in here for the men. He coming here for all the souls. He want all of us. No, Christine, I don't get nothing on that. No.
She said, "I ain't jumping in it."
She ain't.
I'll stay out of it. Anyway, so how do we get back to the barrier of sin, the barrier found by sin?
Look, Christine, those are barriers formed by sin.
Uh-huh.
Pride is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Humbleness is another. Those keep people from having a true relationship with God, not being humble, lustful desires, disobedience. These are some of the barriers that keep you, that's formed by sin. But how do they get those barriers? Trauma. Trauma.
Yeah.
Betrayal. Unhealed, unforgiveness. These are the things that keep you from having that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sore. It's the sore at first, and then it get infected.
Mm-hmm.
How does it get infected? By you not taking care of your heart posture. That's how unforgiveness sits in there, and then what does it turn into? It turns into hate.
Mm-hmm.
Further away from a relationship with God, relationship with Jesus. It derails you from having prayer life. We sit here and we act like we didn't have that time or that moment where we didn't pray as much as we supposed to. Even right now, do we pray the way we supposed to pray? Do we?
No, I don't know about y'all. I'm so confused. All right.
You pray like you're supposed to, Rodney?
Yes, sir. I have a personal relationship with God. Yes.
I said pray like you're supposed to.
That is my relationship with God.
See what you want to say.
I want us to kind of get on track, because I really do feel like we need to encourage through direct experience. I know what you're saying about prayers, but there's a serving in spiritual practices is different for everybody. Everybody's spiritual practices are not the same. So prayer is not going to be the same for everybody. And our practices and our spiritual way is not going to be the same. But to encourage people to get out of the barriers of sin is something that we need to encourage through healthy relationships, learning how to have better and healthy relationships. We need to improve. We need to show our evidence of how we embody, real life more abundantly, to our neighbors, to ourselves. So I feel like what you're saying is basically that we as people need to do better. We need to learn how to deal with difficult things in life and deal with it when it's uncomfortable and your voice shakes and your body shakes and you're so don't know how to do it. You got to come into a mindset to say, God, give me the courage. That is when you ask. That is when you ask the things that you need. That is the prayer that you should ask for. So, and also serving others. That is another thing we should be encouraging people to do, is serve one another, because that's what Jesus did. He served us. He served his disciples as well. He served people. We need to encourage people how to become better stewards of Christ, of ourselves, of people, one another. So our conversations are not trying to figure out how, or why it is. I think our conversations should be about how do we embody the spirit of God that we all talk about and we say we love? How do we do it in a daily way? And we show it to our brothers and sisters, especially ourselves, when you wake up in the morning and you don't have a good mindset to say, I love myself and I'm worthy. How do you embody the worthiness? These are the things we need to talk about. These are the things we need to encourage.
Yeah, I totally agree. And everybody needs to know they're not alone. You know what I mean? And like you said, when you wake up in the morning and you don't like yourself, like every morning I wake up, I tell the Lord, thank you for waking me up to see another day. Thank you for letting me take another breath. And I talk to him throughout the day. Because I remember what it used to be like when I didn't talk to him. When I used to wake up and say, "Oh man, it's gonna be another crappy day." You know what I mean? When you wake up with that kind of mindset, your day's done already. Before you even step out of bed, your day's done. If you wake up with a positive attitude, thanking the Lord, talking to the Lord, letting them know that, hey, I see you, I feel you, I hear you, and your day's going to be glorious. You know what I mean? You might have some hiccups during the day, but you know what? You're not alone in that hiccup because He always by your side. You know what I mean? So that's what I took from what you just said. So if that makes sense.
Definitely did. Definitely.
Yeah, and what I would say maybe like when God sent Jesus Christ to reconcile the world to Him, He made a big statement. He chose us. And what I would say to anyone that will listen to is that, can we take the challenge and choose Him back? Every morning we wake up, can we say, Father, I choose you today. Be my guide, be my helper, be my teacher. I cannot do anything without you. Can I choose to choose you and help me?
Yeah. Love that.
Love it.
Choose ye this day whom you will serve. That's what I think of. And that's what we need to do every day. But a lot of people like to serve the comfortable God who doesn't challenge us, who doesn't serve only the selfish way. But yeah, we can become a better people with the conversations like this.
Where you been at all day?
One thing I really heard when Stephen was saying, like in his place of disobedience where he was, like he didn't know how to pray. All he did is that, God, save my wife. I'll do this for you if you save my wife. And the Lord took him, the Lord like responded, and He did. And I heard that He did it again, Said, this time I'm serious, Lord.
I'm done playing around. I'm done playing with the devil.
How much He loves us.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
Good point.
Yeah.
Lady T, what I was going to say to you when you was talking, right? The one thing is that just think about your relationship with God. If you have truly surrendered to God, right, then you'll be able to hear His voice. And I'm almost certain that when God speaks to you, at that moment when you need to speak to somebody, if you're not comfortable with that, then you're truly not really surrendered unto God, because God tells us to do things that's uncomfortable to show our growth, to let our growth be seen, not by man, by Him, because we want to be obedient. We want to be obedient. Rodney is the one person shaking his head, rubbing his head, making his face. Are you truly being obedient?
Yes, I am. And here's the great thing, Chef. You're not my judge.
It's not about a judge. Iron sharpens iron.
Hold on.
Iron sharpens iron.
You're talking to Lady T as if you know what she does. Like, you don't know her heart. You can't say that she's truly surrendered or not just because you don't think she's being obedient enough. That's when it's dangerous. You just said it, bro. I was here.
No. Are you being true? I'm talking about her statement. I didn't question her. See, you got to listen. So you're not listening. You wasn't listening.
You was listening.
You two are just a mess.
You wasn't listening. This wasn't a question. I was responding to what she said. Thank you, sir.
And you said that I believe that she's not truly surrendered.
Not her.
No.
Come on, stop, man. No, apologize. I want you to apologize because you wasn't listening. That's what you wasn't doing. You wasn't listening. And no, don't tell him nothing because he wasn't.
Well, we're gonna go back 144. We're gonna go back and listen.
You wasn't listening, man. You gotta start listening, brother.
Hey, bro, do me a favor. Just do me a favor. Just keep your judgment to yourself, bro. I'm good.
Hey, you gotta listen.
I'm already good, bro. I already said what I gotta say. I moved on. Let's keep it going. Like, you still try to
You know what, Lacey? I know what he did. I know what he need. He need another hug. That's what he need. That's what he
Yeah, y'all gonna see each other
this
soon.
time I'm gonna squeeze. Yeah, I'm gonna see you soon. This time I'm gonna squeeze you.
I'm gonna go and pray.
You better go.
Oh, I don't know what just happened.
No.
All right, I'm late for Bible study, man.
Oh yeah, you got to get out of here. Hold on, somebody.
So, Christina, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with you before we get off?
Yeah, currently I've been when the Lord brought me to America, one of the things he said to me through men of God that hear the Lord clearly, he said he was sending me here that it would be a stepping stone to nations. So like the last 22 years, I've been in a season of preparation and overcoming. And right now I'm beginning to launch out. I'm starting by media platform. And then one of the assignments I have in this region we're in is to start a training hub to equip mostly leaders. So we are still in prayer about that, but I'm launching out with building the media platform and getting back on course. So I'm coming out of that place like a Moses kind of experience, out of the backside of the desert. That's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Steve, let them know where they can find you at too with your podcast.
Okay, well,
tell them about it. Yeah.
Huh?
I said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So if you want to find me, you can look up my Spotify. It's the SDM Effect on Spotify. On YouTube, it's Stevie Mac Podcast. Facebook, it's just regular Stephen McCormick. Yeah, that's about it. And if you want to be inspired, go buy my book on Amazon. Look up my name. You'll find Anchoring God or Why Not Me. You know what I mean? So everything is appreciated. Why Not Me is about it's me, but the character's name is Joe. You know what I mean? It's like because when I used to weigh almost 300 pounds a year and a half ago, I started getting fit with God by my side. You know what I mean? And it's 140 pages of basically me writing about myself, how I got motivated by God to lose weight. And then Anchored in God is it's about, like I said earlier, it's about, you're not alone in your journey in life. With God by your side, anything is possible. There's no hardship. Well, there is hardship and all that, but, basically, moral of the story is you can get through anything you want if you have God by your side.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
All right, guys. Well, listen, it's been a great conversation, especially with my brother Rodney. So, Rodney, enjoy your week. Sir. Enjoy your enjoy your
I'm at the relationship conference tomorrow, so I won't be on the show. I don't want nobody to think I'm upset now I'm not on the show or something like that. Nah, I'm gonna be at the relationship conference tomorrow, so I won't be on the show because of that. I ain't scared of Chef. Don't worry about it. I know when I'm at judgment and I'm talking to Jesus, I ain't gotta worry about Chef putting in his 2 cents. So I got the main person to vouch for me. So
Christine, this is how we do. That's my brother. He just go back and forth. So I don't want and let me get one thing straight. Like some people that watch this don't think we are arguing. We don't argue. This is how we show each other love. It's a conversation. It's truly in love, truly in spirit. So it's not about that because I don't want nobody that's ever listening to think that it's about argument. It's not. It's about love. We got to be able to have fun. We got to be able to do this and do it in love and do it in truth, not with animosity, not with a hidden agenda, not with spite. No, it's all love here. From the battle to the glory is nothing but love. God be the glory. That's it. It don't got nothing to do about Rodney, nothing me or Lady T. It's not about that. So I just wanted to clear the air with that because we have fun. We laugh, we joke, we show love to one another, we support one another. Look at this dude.
Yeah, like most definitely. That's what I was telling you earlier. I said, Rodney, keep you on your toes, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah, look, there's not a bone that he has ever said something to me I got upset. It's just like no. Like I love them that much, and that's my love. That's my love language. I love people. You know what I'm saying? I could just go anywhere and just start loving on people, even if they don't like me because of the color of my skin. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yeah, that's why I like watching y'all show, man.
It's because it's people out there that's just like that, and I let them know, no, buddy, that you won't get the victory over here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna let my light shine because that's the Christ that's in me. Like that's just it.
God has me in a season where I'm learning to love difficult people.
Yes, you are.
Wonderful. I'm glad he's working on you because there's a lot out there. Look, it's a lot out there. A lot.
Well, my teenager has enjoyed the talk more. She's chuckling here.
All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We got a last show before this month is out, and then we're gonna go on a little vacation for about a week or so. And then we right back in June. So, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Be blessed. Enjoy your dinners. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, I appreciate
it. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.